I know I've been waiting for this video, and I think quite a number of you have as well. It is time for my Lamar Jackson scouting report. Oh, baby! Let's see how this goes. Now, for my money, outside of perhaps Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson is the most polarizing of the big-name, major quarterback prospects in the 2018 NFL Draft. There are a variety of reasons for that. It is what it is. You've got some people that think he's the best quarterback in this draft and he should be taken by the Browns #1 overall. And on the ultimate extreme, on the flip side, you've got people thinking he shouldn't be drafted as a quarterback at all. He should be drafted to play wide receiver, and that is his NFL position. And we're going to talk about all of that in this video. But here's kind of what I see when I watch Lamar Jackson, and have watched Lamar Jackson over the past couple of seasons, the 2016 Heisman Trophy winner. When I talk about his strengths, his positives, the things that make him likely to be able to stick as a quarterback at the NFL level, I look first at his arm strength. He's got a very, very, very nice arm. He can easily, comfortably make all the required NFL throws. Occasionally, due to mechanics, he doesn't get all of the velocity out of his arm strength that he can, but he does have a naturally strong arm. And there are times where you watch Lamar Jackson on film, and he can make some special throws. He can throw some absolute darts, some absolute frickin' laser beams. No question. Arm strength, check that box, check it again. He's got it in quite an abundance. For somebody that's a mobile quarterback like him, an athletic quarterback like him, that has the fantastic running ability that he does, one thing I feel like he gets a little bit underrated for is his pocket presence. He's actually got solid pocket presence. Sure, he still has to battle the urge sometimes to roll out too quickly, to escape the pocket too quickly, but this is a guy that's shown some feel for being able to move up and back within the pocket, side to side within the pocket, shown willingness to hang tough in the pocket, stand tall in the pocket with the pass rush beating down on him. His pocket presence really isn't that bad, and it's better than other alleged pocket passers in this draft class. I also feel like his decision-making is pretty solid. Now, granted, part of that could be the Louisville system, where he didn't always have to go through a wide variety of reads, do a whole lot of complex things. Sometimes it was one read and run or one read and throw. But those times where he did have to go through multiple reads, those times where he did have to make decisions, I thought he was pretty solid. He doesn't take too many bad risks, doesn't take too many bad chances. And frankly, sometimes when you talk about decision-making, that decision-making can be one thing, but if you have the arm that can buy you an opportunity that other people just don't have, then the decision-making isn't as important. Don't get me wrong, decision-making is very important, but I think Lamar Jackson is better in terms of his mental understanding of the game and understanding when to take a chance, when to not, than he's given credit for. To me, I didn't see a guy that took a ton of bad risks. And beyond question, we have to talk about it because it's absolutely true. Lamar Jackson is absolutely special as a runner. He is gifted, ridiculously gifted, like Deshaun Watson and a whole lot better. And Deshaun Watson was a great scrambler coming out of Clemson, a great athlete. Lamar Jackson is better. He is the best NFL prospect, and I put that qualifier on there, NFL prospect quarterback runner that I've seen since Michael Vick. And that doesn't automatically mean there is a Michael Vick comparison, but in this particular category, where he's not as quite fast as Michael Vick was, you can forget about just how electric and explosive Michael Vick was. And it's easy to forget now because distance of time that has elapsed, but Michael Vick in the mid-2000s was a big deal, and there was a lot of thought that he was going to be the next wave, the next generation, the future of the quarterback position in the National Football League. Well, Lamar Jackson has a lot of those similar traits as a runner. Like I said, not quite as explosive, not as fast, but incredibly lethal, incredibly dangerous. He can make as many plays with his feet, if not more, than he does his arm, which It's both a blessing and a curse because he can make plays that other quarterbacks just can't make. He can keep plays alive that other quarterbacks just can't. He can make things happen that other guys just can't. He is as much of a threat to hurt you one way as he is the other way. Unfortunately, because of a variety of factors, it can be very easy to lock in and focus on that one trait, that one characteristic, and say that's all he is. It's a blessing and it's also a curse. And it shouldn't be, but that is the reality and that is the way it is, unfortunately. So, a special athlete with a cannon of an arm, better as a pocket passer, better in his pocket presence and his decision making than I feel like, frankly, I've seen him be given credit for. That said, of course, there's always going to be concerns. Here are my concerns with him. His mechanics need work. He has the tendency to kind of do that Vince Young flick of the wrist, if you know what I'm talking about, similar to a Mariota can kind of do from time to time. It doesn't seem like they utilize their whole arm, have really a whole throwing motion. They don't utilize their entire body, specifically something I'm big on, utilizing your lower body in your throwing motion. He really has a tendency to just kind of get it and then kind of flick it with his wrist. And while he has the arm strength to be able to get away with that, the challenge being is he doesn't get everything on the ball that he can all the time, and it also feels like it impedes and hinders his accuracy significantly. Even though you would think if you sat there and shortened your throwing motion, similar to how you shorten a golf swing, in theory, it should increase and improve your accuracy. And the problem is that's not always the case. There are a variety of different factors that go into it, similar to a golf swing. Shortening the golf swing does not automatically mean that you're going to be more accurate, because if you have trouble catching up with the club head compared to your body, a variety of different things, you get yourself out of position, you get in bad angles, you could shorten your swing and do more damage than if you lengthened your swing because of timing and, like I said, other things. And similar to the throwing motion as a quarterback. His accuracy is really hit and miss. And there are times where he makes some really nice and great on-the-money throws, and there are times where his general accuracy is very poor and his ball placement is very bad. A lot of throws that should be hitting receivers in stride that are too low, where a receiver has to adjust and go down for it as opposed to catching it and being in an athletic position to run with it, throwing behind guys, throwing way above them. That is a challenge. And what it really comes down to me, it seems like Lamar Jackson is fighting himself in his throwing motion. And again, it comes back kind of the flick of the wrist. I see it at times as I've watched him, especially in 2017. It just looks like he's fighting himself, like he's afraid to really let it go. Because maybe he's not the most natural, pure passer. Maybe it's not the strength of his game. Maybe he's just afraid that if he really lets it go, he's going to throw too hard. He's going to overthrow guys and blow it by them. And that might be a valid concern. But mechanically, with the flick of the wrist, his accuracy is not great. It is something he's going to have to work on. He's going to get better at. He's going to have to if he wants to stick as a starting quarterback in the NFL and get the full potential out of his tremendous gifts. And like I said, it's one thing that I noticed as I watched him. It's one of the biggest red flags that jumps out to me is it seems like he is fighting himself. He's going to have to get better going through progressions and seeing the whole field. That's not saying he can't. That's not saying he doesn't. But it is not the strength of his game. There are times where he is very calm and poised and collected in the pocket, as I referenced earlier, and he will take his time and be able to go through his progressions and go from one side of the field to the other, or start one way, work the safety over, and come back to it. But a lot of one-read stuff in Petrino's system in Louisville, and there are times where he has that fixation on locking onto his primary target. But that's not something unique to Lamar Jackson. That is typically a trait that we see out of a lot of young quarterbacks coming out of college, in large part because of the systems that they run in college. I think one other concern, too, even though he didn't really have injury problems at Louisville, it's something that could rear his ugly head at the NFL level, and that's his frame and his playing style could lead to injury. We've seen this a little bit with Mariota. You saw this in the past with guys like Michael Vick. The concern about being like 6'2", 6'3", 205, 210 pounds, and the style that he plays with, it makes you more likely to be at risk for injury. And when you look at these mobile, athletic type of guys, they're great talents, but it doesn't do you any good if they can't make it through a 16-game season. Like you look at the Eagles in 2017, Wentz is a stud, but Wentz also didn't finish the season because he was scrambling and he was running and he tore up his knee. Deshaun Watson, yes, it happened in practice and all of that, but still another example of a mobile athletic type of quarterback not making it through an entire season. So sometimes where we talk about the need to be able to move, need to be able to scramble and run around and extend plays, it's funny that a lot of times it's the more statuesque pocket passers that only move out of sheer necessity and do it in ugly fashion tend to be the guys that finish every season. It's funny how that works. So when you look at the recent history of some of these more athletic and mobile quarterbacks and the fact that they have trouble staying healthy for a variety of different things, could be knees, could be like Cam Newton with the shoulder, that's concerning. Now, granted, Cam is much bigger, but still it's more about the style of play. And Lamar is not the biggest guy, he's not the thickest guy, so it is a legitimate concern. But what really concerns me the most about Lamar Jackson is this talk about him having to move to wide receiver. Where in the hell did this even come from? Why are people even talking about this? What makes Lamar Jackson so inherently less qualified than any other major big-name quarterback prospect in this draft? I don't get it. Lamar Jackson sure has his strengths, and sure, he most certainly has his weaknesses and opportunities. But so does Josh Rosen, so does Baker Mayfield, so does Sam Darnold, so certainly does Josh Allen, so does Mason Rudolph and Luke Falk and Kyle Lauletta and Raya, whoever the hell else you want to throw in there. But what is so different about Lamar Jackson that we're talking about him being a wide receiver? We know what the answer is, and it's freaking ridiculous because I look at it and I say, well, why aren't we talking about Sam Darnold, who's athletic, but has major flaws in his game? Why are we not talking about him having to convert to wide receiver or tight end at the National Football League? And most certainly, I want to point out, while he's my number one quarterback on the board, whether you agree with me or not, if we're talking about Lamar Jackson having to be a wide receiver at the NFL level, which is, again, dumb and ridiculous and stupid, then why the hell aren't we talking about the same thing with Josh Allen? Here's a big athletic, mobile guy with a rocket launcher of an arm, but struggles with accuracy, struggles at time with the speed of the game. Why aren't we talking about him having to convert to tight end at 6'5", 237 pounds? What is so different between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson? I rest my case. It is one of these examples of where you know why this is coming up. Some people won't like it, and they'll bitch about me bringing it up, but we know it's true. Just acknowledge the fact that it's true. There is a difference, and we know what the difference is. It is staring you right in the freaking face. Because when you look at this quarterback class, all of these big-name guys have major significant flaws and concerns about them. There is nobody in this class that I look at and say they are a can't-miss surefire thing, or that I would stake my reputation on saying they are can't-miss surefire. I guarantee you they're going to be the shit. But Lamar Jackson is the one we're talking about having to convert to wide receiver. Again, I wonder why the hell that is. But all of that crap aside, I think it's ridiculous. I do envision Lamar Jackson as a quarterback prospect. I do envision Lamar Jackson as a very good quarterback prospect. My NFL comparison for him is Marcus Mariota. Similar build, slightly better arm than Mariota, but a lot of similarities in their game. Again, another one of those guys kind of tends to flick with the wrist. The concerns about being able to stay healthy at the NFL level because of the style of play are there. But I was big on Mariota in 2015, and I'm not quite as big on Lamar Jackson, but still big on him for 2018. I've got him as a very, 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 very high second-round talent at the quarterback position. To me, he's the number 2 quarterback in this class. I don't care if you at me or not. I don't care if you agree with me or not. It's the way I see it, and that's what the hell it's going to be. Yes, I happen to like Josh Allen a little bit more, so what? But if you don't like the fact that I have Lamar Jackson rated higher than Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen and Baker Mayfield, well, then that's tough shit for you because I don't care. I think Lamar Jackson's getting slept on here. I think Lamar Jackson's getting criminally underrated here. I think Lamar Jackson's falling a little bit of victim to stupidity from some of the draftniks when the NFL draft circles. I'm just saying. The dude's a legit quarterback prospect, and there's something about him, just that intangible thing that you have to really, really like. Don't make the mistake of sleeping on him and his NFL potential, because I most certainly am not.